Welcome to the Coaster Spot. This is Alex, and today we're going to talk about the coaster that nobody asked for coming to SeaWorld Orlando next year. But first, I'd appreciate it if you could hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Of course, we'll have plenty of coverage of this coaster, probably some construction, and of course, when it opens, we'll be there to provide you with first thoughts and POVs. So let's move on to what we're talking about here. It's going to be a B&M stand-up launched roller coaster. Stand-up coasters have not been built for 24 years. The last one was in 1999 at Six Flags Over Georgia. The fantastic Georgia Scorcher, which while everyone really enjoys, I think everyone was perfectly okay with stand-up coasters leaving the amusement industry. They were a gimmick. They were a product of the time. Someone thought it was cool to do a stand-up roller coaster. And while they're not particularly painful for myself, they can be for a lot of other people. And if you don't know how to ride them just right, it can be a very painful experience. I definitely need to make a video about how you can actually have a relatively pain-free ride on Green Lantern, at least for the headbanging. And so you should hit that notification bell for when videos come out so you can see videos just like that in the future. But of course, even if you get the restraint just right, you still have the issue of the bicycle seat, which can be very uncomfortable for anybody. And if you get it just a little bit wrong, can just be downright painful. And if you get everything else right, sometimes just the standing position is not very kind on your feet. This coaster will be launched, so that is what SeaWorld is probably going to be claiming as the world's first, never seen before element on a roller coaster of this type. And that seems okay. It's nice to see that B&M is building another launch coaster. Their last launch coaster was their first, Thunderbird at Holiday World. Of course, you know that just down the street you have the Incredible Hulk coaster, which has a launch, but B&M actually did not have anything to do with the launch. Universal subcontracted that themselves because B&M was not willing to do it at the time. And then you have a very basic layout, a lot of swooping turns, a lot of helixes, some airtime hills, a hammerhead, and then because it seems that SeaWorld Entertainment loves to throw in one inversion to a ride, it has a corkscrew. I mean, just look at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay. They have 4 different roller coasters with one inversion, which is really confusing to me because a lot of people will not ride a ride with inversions. That's why so many people love hyper coasters because they don't want to go upside down. They don't mind the height, but for a lot of people, they will take a seat because the ride goes upside down versus height, speed, or any other element. So this coaster will be flying above midways, which is kind of cool to have all the interactions. It will be built right next to the main gate, right to the right of the main gate. So it's the first thing you're going to see. It will actually complete the loop between Icebreaker and the front gate, which is great to see. They do open this occasionally for events and when they had concerts, but it wasn't something that they've been using on a daily basis for quite some time now. So it'll just be great to have the easy access to Icebreaker so the park won't have so much of a dead end in that area. So at least there's that. So these images have been provided by BGW Fans, who has done a lot of sleuthing recently into the future attractions that the SeaWorld parks are going to build. And we've known for a while about this coaster. It was originally supposed to open in 2021, a year after Icebreaker, but everything got pushed back for obvious reasons. And we've known about it since before Icebreaker was originally supposed to open. Originally, we thought it was going to be a stand-up. Then it seemed like it was going to move away from that and have a special seat with a shock absorber in the seat support. So it would be one of the smoothest rides ever. And now it seems from the renderings that are very plainly obvious that the riders are standing up. And it's going to have a new style restraint. Instead of having a hard restraint, you're going to have the vest that B&M has used on more recent roller coasters, especially their wing coasters. And that should negate all of the headbanging, but you're still going to have the issues with the bicycle seat and people's legs getting tired. But however, since it's going to be a launch coaster, the ride will be over a lot faster. So that also might help a little bit. And we'll see. I don't think it really is very accessible to a lot of people. I don't think coaster enthusiasts are very excited about it. In fact, I know they aren't, and I think that the general public will ride it once and think that's really cool and not really feel the need to do it again. This park is seriously lacking in what kids past the age of Sesame Street can do, other than animals, until they are tall enough to do the big roller coasters. I feel like a family coaster, something like Fire Chaser Express at Dollywood would have been absolutely fantastic for this park, or a mine train, or something like that. A nice family coaster would have been great. They tried to make icebreaker that, but it was obviously not that. As fact is, the intensity was too much there, and then they had issues with the train, so it had to raise that height requirement anyways. And this is a park in Orlando that has 0 dark rides. They have 1 theater show, and then they have 2 abandoned dark rides with Antarctica and Wild Arctic. I would love them to go back into those buildings and do something with that. And maybe a Sesame Street dark ride in the future. That would just be absolutely fantastic. Part Aventero in Spain has one of those, and I've heard nothing but great things about that dark ride. We'll see. We'll see. SeaWorld Orlando is definitely transitioning away from animals and to have it be a theme park. When they first added their first roller coaster back in the 90s, people were questioning why the heck they were doing that. And we'll see what the future holds for SeaWorld Orlando. I do like the park, and we'll definitely be visiting it to ride this ride next year. Anyways, this has been Alex. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you very soon.